We're going to break out of that to take you straight back to our political editor, Beth Rigby. There's already been a development to this. Beth, what can you tell us?
Well, Sky News understands that Angela Rayner, the Deputy Prime Minister, is to leave government. As we understand it, Angela Rayner has resigned from government as Deputy Prime Minister and Housing Minister. That's all the information I have at the moment, but this comes after a torrid few days for the Deputy Prime Minister around property tax and whether she underpaid stamp duty. The Prime Minister has given her support and time to explain herself, but as I understand it, Angela Rayner has had to step down from government.
So as far as we understand it, Beth, she has resigned her position as Deputy Prime Minister, as Housing Secretary, but she remains Deputy Leader of the Labour Party.
Yeah, as I understand it, and I'm just getting more information, I also understand she has also stood down as Deputy Leader. I have no more information. I am literally getting that as I'm speaking to you on camera. So as I understand it, she's resigned from government. She's resigned also as Deputy Leader. So Angela Rayner now resigned all her three posts. The Deputy Leader is an elected position by the Labour Party, and she has also, as I understand it, resigned as Deputy Leader. So Angela Rayner, the second most powerful woman in the government, she came from working class backgrounds, she worked in the trade unions, she rose right to the top of government, a massive powerhouse within Keir Starmer's cabinet. She has been forced to quit over revelations that she underpaid tax on a property that she bought by £40,000. She told me in an interview earlier this week that it was a mistake, that she did, in good faith, pay what she thought was the correct amount of tax. That turned out to be wrong. The Prime Minister has looked at this evidence. His independent standards advisor has looked at the evidence, and Angela Rayner has had to resign from government as Deputy Prime Minister, Housing Minister, and as I understand it, Deputy Leader. And now there is a massive hole in Keir Starmer's government, and I expect now we will have a wider reshuffle today, and it could even go up, I now think, to cabinet level, given that he now needs to replace Angela Rayner. So there is a big reshuffle coming along. Just to also give you some more information, as I understand it, Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor, I don't think will be moving in any reshuffle. I think Rachel Reeves stays as Chancellor. As for everything else, I think we should expect a reshuffle. As I said, Angela Rayner has been forced to resign, both as Deputy Prime Minister, Housing Minister and Deputy Leader of the Labour Party.
Yeah, a pretty big reshuffle right to the very top. And as you say there, Beth, this is seismic, isn't it, for the government, given her prominence, also her popularity amongst the unions and the membership?
It is absolutely seismic. She is the deputy leader of the party. That is an elected position. So, and I'm just thinking on my feet as we go through this, there will have to be a leadership contest for a new deputy leader. Will she re-stand in that and try and get a mandate from the members? That's speculation. I don't know what is in Angela Rayner's mind at the moment, but that is the last thing Keir Starmer probably wants right now. It also means a powerful ally, extremely popular person within the Labour Party and the Labour movement and the trade union movement is going back to the backbenches. Keir Starmer, I imagine, has seen this report and felt he had no option but to ask Angie Rayner to go, or she saw the findings and she chose herself to resign. I don't have any of that detail yet. I don't have any of the details from the report. It's yet to be published, but clearly Angie Rayner saw the writing on the wall. She has resigned, and you saw in that interview that she gave a very, very heartfelt explanation of her predicament. She had put her family home when she divorced. She put her family home, her share of it, into a trust for her disabled son who has lifelong needs. She then, when she got divorced, then in 2025, she sold the remaining stake of her house in that trust. She used a deposit to buy a second property in Hove on the South Coast, and she said she was advised at the time that she only needed to pay standard stamp duty. That's what you pay when you buy your house. It now emerges that she needed to pay additional stamp duty because it was a second home and you have to pay a bigger surcharge. She did not do that. She said she'd referred herself to HMRC. She said she'd referred herself to the ethics advisor. And she basically said, look, I made an honest mistake. My family situation's complicated. I have a disabled child. I'd set up a trust. I did this in good faith. And that was her explanation. But now it emerges that, explanation or not, she has had to resign from government. And this is a massive moment, both for her but also for the Prime Minister.
Yeah, a headache for the Prime Minister, for the government, but a field day for opposition parties, Beth. It's the day of the Reform Party's conference. We've seen Nigel Farage arriving pretty ebullient mood in Birmingham, who said that her position was perilous. The leader of the Conservative Party has also not hesitated in putting her views out on social media. Kemi Badenoch writes, Angela Rayner is finally gone, but it's only because of Keir Starmer's weakness that she wasn't sacked 3 days ago. Britain deserves better. Is that a fair accusation of the Prime Minister, or would you say that generally within Westminster it is being perceived that he has reacted fairly swiftly to these developments?
Well, look, so if I keep darting down on my phone, news is coming through to me, so forgive me, I'm not paying attention. I'm paying massive attention. But just on the issue of the Prime Minister, look, I think it's been a very difficult few days for the Prime Minister. You saw him in Prime Minister's questions. He talked about his respect and admiration for Angela Rayner, but in the end he also was very clear yesterday that he had to follow a process, and he refused to give her his backing until that process had been followed. I'd say the other thing about the Prime Minister, who himself is a lawyer, that in the past, when other ministers have broken the ministerial code, when Boris Johnson kept on Priti Patel, despite the judgment by his then ethics advisor that she'd broken the ministerial code and did not sack Priti Patel, Keir Starmer was fuming about that and very, very strident in the fact that he had not done the right thing. And I think for Keir Starmer, as much as I suspect that he would have wanted to protect Angela Rayner, I think if that report has come in from his ethics advisor and it's found that she's broken the ministerial code or it doesn't completely exonerate her, he would have had to ask her to leave. And she clearly has taken the decision to resign after what has been, I imagine, an absolutely awful few days for her and her family. You saw how upset she was in the interview. She had a traumatic birth. Her child had lifelong injuries. She had a settlement from a long-fought battle with the NHS to get a payment to secure his future. She then put it into a trust, and this was all private information until she got a court order lifted from the family court in support of her ex-husband and the father of her son to make this information public. When I said to her, would it have been better just to walk than have to disclose this information, she said, my family would rather that I tried to clear my name and laid the truth as she saw it on the line than walk away with this cloud over her. So she revealed lots of very personal details that she found difficult. But at the heart of this, at the end of this, she is the housing minister and she has underpaid tax. And she is therefore potentially liable for a fine from HMRC. And in those circumstances, many people think that she had to step down, even if they had sympathy for her. Ruth Davidson, my colleague on our Electoral Dysfunction podcast and the former leader of the Conservative Scottish Party, said yesterday, I have loads of sympathy for her as a human, but you know, from Ruth's point of view, she said Angela Rayner's a hypocrite because she's so critical about other people about underpaying tax. And she would be the first to say that Angela Rayner should go and she should resign. And Harriet Harman and others that have supported and backed Angela Rayner have come out fiercely to support her. So this is a tale that has really divided Westminster and divided politics as well, with a huge camp of people supremely, incredibly supportive of Rayner, and another group of people saying, look, whatever the personal circumstances, there cannot be one rule for you and another rule for other people. You might have had poor advice, but you still underpaid tax, and as housing minister, how can you stay in cabinet? And those are the two views that we have seen playing out. Just in terms of MPs, I'm getting a lot of messages from MPs that supported Angela Rayner who are upset about this. One saying that, you know, everyone's been talking about what happens about her. It's now the post-Rayner world, that they think that the whole debate has been, to quote one senior Labour figure, very toxic. But yeah, she's had to go. And I think that the next thing will be as well, not only what Angela Rayner's statement might say, we should have an exchange of letters between her and the Prime Minister later today, but also about this wider reshuffle now.